rolling up on this video for the first time, my name is Tammy. I am the author and 5-star review for the book The Empathy Gap. It is black and white. You can find it on Amazon. It is linked in my bio, as well as the scorecards. I will encourage you to get both scorecard and the book. Okay, so let's have a conversation about why this is or isn't a bad thing, right? So the first thing we have to consider when we talk about sexuality for women, especially white women, this is where the nuance and empathy comes in. I believe a lot of white women are promiscuous at a young age because of the families and the conditions you were born into. We know that pedophilia is high in the white community, right? And we know that young girls and boys who tend to suffer from sexual abuse tend to go out into the world a little bit more promiscuous, right? And so I think some of why white girls tend to be far more promiscuous at younger age may have to do with whether or not they have experienced SA, particularly from father, uncle, cousin, brothers, pastors, priests. Okay, so there's that part of the conversation. Now, the second part of that is why you're having a lot of sex, right? So we talked about if you've been sexually assaulted, that may explain why white women tend to be more promiscuous. And then what you women have done is, in order to not deal with the shame of how freely and willingly you share your body, you hide it under the banner of feminism. You hide it under the banner of sexual liberation. You hide it under the banner of sexual freedom. And a lot of you, if you're being honest, you're not sharing your body for your own personal sexual exploration. You're sharing your body because you think you have to. You're sharing your body because you think it'll make the men like you. You're sharing your body because you want to be picked, right? But you will feel shame about that, especially if you've been the girl to do that and now you're married, now you have the kids, now you have the house, right? So then you pretend that you didn't live that, and then you shame other women. And then when we have conversations about promiscuity, we're told we're slut shaming. And we're told we're slut shaming because a lot of you don't want to deal with the shame of why you were sharing your body. I would say probably, and this is not just white women, this is most women, I would say probably more than 75% of women who find themselves promiscuous or sharing their bodies freely and willingly with men are doing it for the men. You're doing it because you want to be picked. You're doing it because you want to be seen as a girl that just goes along. You want to be seen as the woman that they will want. A lot of women are not sharing their bodies with men for the purpose of sexual exploration of their own bodies. And I think we need to be honest about that. We need to be honest about that. I'm not talking about women who grew up in very high stakes religion, high control religions, where you were taught to be repressed. Another woman said in my comment section, and I can speak to this as a woman who was raised very Christian, that you get a double messaging, right? So then there's the women, those are the women like me and this other woman in my comment section who said you're told to be the good chaste women, right? To save yourself for marriage, to not be promiscuous. And then you get married and you're expected to be this slut when you have so much repressed shame around even being sexual, right? So there's a double-edged sword for women in this game called sex, but usually at every turn, it is usually with a man's gaze at our back. And so being promiscuous is a bad thing if you're being promiscuous for the purpose of just being accepted and being picked by men. Being promiscuous is bad because it's not good for your vaginal health. It's not good for your physical health. Sex is not just about the physical pleasure. Sex is a spiritual act. You are soul tying to people. And I don't see soul tying myself with my body to men, random men, as an act of liberation.